If you're from Rhode Island, then you already know what this is. It's the Crook Point Bascule Bridge, an icon of the state, a piece of abandoned history right in Providence, the state capital. It's a beautiful symbol of urban decay, and it's been like this since 1976. Everyone has seen it, but not everyone knows why it's like this, or that it leads to a mile-long abandoned tunnel through the city's east side. The bridge can be seen from a major highway, and us Rhode Islanders love it. Well, most of us anyway. It's been put on t-shirts, socks, art prints, you name it. And it's as much a part of the skyline here as the buildings. And that's saying a lot, because Providence has gorgeous architecture, each building telling a story about the city's rich history. First, let's jump into its history and find out exactly why it's here and what happened to it. This is Union Station in the center of Providence. Today, it's composed of restaurants, storefronts, and offices, but in the early 1900s, Union Station was a commerce hub. Railroads branched out from here to Connecticut, New York, and further south. In 1906, the city began construction on 2 new lines from Union Station that would link with a few other regional lines. Part of the construction involved a 5,000-foot tunnel through the city's east side. This is the western portal of the tunnel when it was still in operation. Today, it's hard to tell that there was a major rail going through here. It's been paved over, and the tunnel sealed up completely. Let's pull it back though. This will give you a better idea of the travel route. Union Station is right here, so the rails would go through the city, head into the tunnel's western entrance, then go under houses, stores, streets, and parts of Brown University. There are rumors that some houses have secret access to the tunnel beneath them even today, but so far, no one has showed any proof of that. After a nice underground journey, trains would then exit the train's eastern portal near the Seekonk River and cross the bridge where the tracks would split north or south. Speaking of the eastern portal, here's what it looked like shortly after opening in 1908. Now, it's in a serious state of decay, overgrown and frequently flooded. The northern-facing tracks were left here when the tunnel closed. Imagine how satisfying it would be to have a train just rip through all this. But that's probably dangerous and why I'm not an engineer. Okay, you probably have 2 questions for me right now. First, why was it abandoned? Also, what's inside the tunnel now, because I bet it's pretty cool, right? Passenger service on this line was short-lived and discontinued in 1937. From then until 1981, the tunnel and line was used only for freight traffic. After 1981, with freight transport dwindling, the line was shut down. In 1983, the trestles leading to the tunnel's western entrance in the city were demolished to clear up space. With the trestles gone, that left a wide open tunnel through the city's east side, easily accessible for anyone to walk into. This footage, taken in 1987, shows the western tunnel entrance wide open. It was a bold move of the city to leave the tunnel open, just a mile of isolated darkness where who knows what would be going down. Or in Peter's case here, what kind of friendly cat would show up to give a tour.
I want you to know I can go further, but I don't have a flashlight.
You can see the other end of the tunnel here, a full mile away, a bright dot in the distance. The abandoned tunnel remained open to walk through for 10 years, until 1993, when a party in the tunnel forced city officials to seal it off with thick corrugated steel. A On May 1st, 1993, a student party descends into chaos at the western entrance to the tunnel. Welcome to the RISD riot. They lit fires, put on animal masks, and played music until early the next morning when college security officers attempted to break up the gathering. At this point, there was an argument about jurisdiction, the students telling the security officers that they had none at the tunnel. A fight started between the two groups, and security was outnumbered by the students. The officers retreated and called for Providence police to help. The party was dispersed, and officers claimed they discovered satanic rituals happening in the tunnel. From that point on, the tunnels were sealed up, pierced at each end only by a locked door. And that's exactly how they remain today. But what's inside? Inside is complete darkness. No light gets in here. Even an extremely bright video light couldn't see farther than 30 feet. There's a little over a foot of standing water on the ground, and so much moisture in the air that there's a constant mist surrounding you, making it even harder to see. On top of that, in here, it's dead quiet. The most interesting part of the tunnel is just that it's still here, sitting quietly below a historic part of the city. There are currently no plans to renovate or reuse the tunnel, with the Rhode Island Coalition for Transportation Choices even saying, there has been no established need whatsoever for reactivating the East Side Rail Tunnel. The tunnel has been considered twice for rehabilitation for use by transit, once in 1997 and again in 2009. And that the cost estimated in the more recent study ranged from $40 to $160 million. There were talks of converting it into another bus route, as other trolley tunnels are now used for in the city. But ultimately, plans are at a standstill, with the Rhode Island DOT owning the property. Leading away from the abandoned tunnel, about 100 yards east, is the Crook Point Bascule Bridge, measuring 850 feet across the Seekonk River. With train transport dwindling along this line, keeping the Crook Point Bridge running up and down was costly, and the reduced train use couldn't make it pay off. So it was abandoned around the time the tunnel was shut down, left in its up position so boats could still pass through easily. This is what's called a bascule bridge, and there are a few different types. This one was designed by Scherzer Rolling Lift Bridge Company of Chicago, and it's exactly that, a rolling lift bascule bridge. This design raises the span by rolling on a track resembling a rocking chair base. There are a number of gears in the structure that rotate and slowly raise the bridge to its final 64-degree angle. Excuse me, but what if it falls down though? Great question, and I'm glad you asked. Because of its design, there are fail-safes in place that prevent the bridge from crashing down. This bridge is locked in at this angle. It's weathered 43 years of New England winters and storms. It's not going anywhere. Like I said before, this bridge is a cultural icon in Rhode Island, and for a lot of reasons. In 2007, anthropologist James Doyle published a brief study on this. He suggests that the bridge has functioned as a center of athletic initiation, punk counterculture, and art since its abandonment in 1976. In his report, he outlines that the bridge is now a part of everyday life in the city, even if you don't interact with it directly. Those that do interact with it often do it for two reasons. First, to leave their mark. You can see tags and artwork on the bridge, the most popular being a chain swing that someone installed at the very top. The second reason is the challenge. People will climb it for the experience, as dangerous as that might be. They do it because of the history here, wanting to walk the rusted path, feel the railroad ties, and see a piece of history stuck in time. I guess the view from the top is also part of the draw. Personally, I'm just gonna stick with my drone. Those that just admire it from afar do it with a sense of respect. It's a reminder of a different era, and has been there for as long as we can remember. Is it practical? Absolutely not. Does it look cool? Absolutely yes. So what's going to happen to this bridge? Currently, the city has plans to demolish it within the next 5 years, permanently altering the skyline of Providence. A sad end to an interesting story. To see more interesting abandoned places like this, you can check out the rest of my Abandoned from Above series on my channel right now. Thank you very much for watching.